Welcome to another Tuesday Newsday, everyone. I'm Alternis. I'm the Community and Marketing Director, and I'm here with my special guest, Jen Bixby. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, doing good.
Good. I'm excited to chat with you today. Get to know you a little bit better. You've been kind of the BattleTech adjacent person that I've seen at all the cons and hanging out and stuff like that. So it's cool to get to know good friends of Catalyst better. But first, of course, we have the news, and I don't have much different from last week. I'm just going to kind of review our release schedule for everyone. If anyone has questions, feel free to post them. And of course, my production schedule is missing. So let's go get that. Nope, we don't want to click away from YouTube. That would be bad. All right, so what I've got, we have in May the 14th, so this is 8 days. Yeah. We've got the Inner Sphere Pursuit Lance Force Pack going live, Legendary Mech Warriors 3 Force Pack, and the Salvage Box Mercenaries Legendary 2 and 3. And then on the 28th, we have Inner Sphere Assault Lance Force Pack, Battlefield Support Heavy Battle and Sweep Lances, and Battle Mat City Central Park is on the docket. We've got June releases coming up. I still am finalizing. I've been a little bit more involved with setting some of the street dates, but I need approvals. And so there's a couple of things coming in June that I need sign off that it is in fact releasing then. So I'm supposed to have a meeting with Randall and get that all hammered out. But in the meantime, that is the May releases for BattleTech. For Shadowrun, we've got Margin Calls is coming out May 14th. And I know things are moving ever and ever closer on Leviathan's shipping. We had gotten all of the shipping quotes. Lauren and Talon and Tyler have all been looking at that and kind of questioning, like, hey, what about this? Can we get a better rate on this? And everything like that. So all of the back and forth is starting to wind down. And then we should be getting those rates applied pretty quickly here and go from there, at least for US. Again, the stuff from China still needs to go to the international hubs. We just rushed the US shipment to try to beat tariffs. So more information on international is coming soon. And then, Lev should be getting going. Runefire is going super well. If you haven't been following, if you go to our catalystgamelabs.com or store.catalystgamelabs.com, you can see development blogs that are being posted every other week or so on the Runefire progress. So you're going to get little snippets from Randall, from Paizo, the playtests on Tabletop Simulator. We heard from some of the community after we announced it on Tuesday Newsday and did our press release asking for playtesters. So we got some of you guys to do that. So that's super exciting. Really happy for that. What else? Board games other than Runefire. Flippin' Ninja is out, so you can check that out if you haven't already. It's like leveled up chess, but with a cool Japanese theme. Then we've got Kung Fu Panda Street Food Showdown is a card game, and that is in approvals right now from NBC Universal. And then we'll be sending that to production, which is pretty exciting. Fiction, I just got a ton of fiction sent to me. So we've got, as of this past Friday, BattleTech Apparent Catastrophe by Michael Stackpole is officially out. So I'm going to get a couple of these dropped in chat here. So Apparent, I learned my lesson, and I will put the titles with these so you guys can see them. Oh man, I almost forgot how to spell catastrophe, even though it's in front of me. So there's one of them. We've got Shadowrun Augment Issue 2, which is on pre-order now. It is launching on May 16th. So let's get that one up for you guys. Augment Issue 2. Boop. Then we've got Back of Beyond, Part 2 of the Top Drek series. I love that, is out as well. And this is from Marie Bilodeau. So Back of Beyond. And then, yep, that was out as of the 25th. And then we have free fiction for May that's out on the web store right now. So the first for Shadowrun is called Slappy's Day Out by Sean Holland. I love that name. So let's put that in Shadowrun Slappy's Day Out. And then for Battletech, we have Objective Raid, a short story by Russell Zimmerman. So those are both for free for the month of May on the web store. If you don't get them in time, the plan is to release these as an anthology at the end of the year. So don't worry if you've missed out on any of the free fiction so far. Whew. And then finally, I have a little Friends of Catalyst link for you. We love supporting our friends in the industry. And we have a friend with Nerdburger Games, and he has released a new Kickstarter that I believe is all American made, so you don't have to worry about tariffs. And it is called Slay to Win. Tell the story, fight monsters, and steal the glory. So a card game by Nerdburger. It's a card game, Munchkin-esque, I'd say, but it has a role play element to it that is optional as well. So dropping that in chat to support our friend, Craig. All right, I think that is all of the news. If you have questions, feel free to put them in chat with, and ping Lorcan, I think is our moderator that's in chat today. So Lorcan will pass them to me and Jen at the end of the show here. But I'm ready to talk to you, Jen. How are you?
Oh, doing good.
Good. So I want to kind of...
So what are you playing? That was the WizKids era.
Ooh.
So of course, I started playing and enjoying it, even though my dice still hate me.
Awesome.
Story of my life.
Yep. That's Randall has that problem too.
And I decided, oh, hey, I want to go to a convention. And we decided of all the conventions, it was 2006 to go to Gen Con. And that year we just...
What happened in 2006?
That was just like after we moved in together and I was still finishing up college, getting ready for a wedding.
Okay.
And then the next year we had the wedding, I was pregnant with Victor, and we went to Origins instead, and half of the conversation at the Catalyst booth was Brent up and saying, "You're pregnant in a corset, sit down." I'm
Awesome.
not kidding. And then the next year we're greeted as old friends and we're like, when did this happen?
So,
okay.
So basically you got to start hanging out because of, with the Catalyst folks because of the conventions way back in 2006.
Yep.
Gosh, my brain just reminded me that was 18 years ago. So hooray. Awesome. So you started playing, like, what was it? Were you a gamer before you met your husband?
Not so much a gamer. I was always interested in fantasy and enjoyed writing, despite college eventually burning me out for about 8 years. But in the end, it wasn't that. It was just interesting. And I found the lore the most interesting. Awesome.
So started to get into playing and get into lore and hanging out with Catalyst folks. So I guess, how did you just mentioned that you burned out of writing for a little bit, but what kind of got you reinvigorated and got you on your journey to writing for Battletech?
That would actually be a prank I pulled in 2019 at Gen Con that just sparked a story, and it was like, oh, which was in the number 8 of the end result was a number 8 of Shrapnel.
Ooh,
Waits
awesome.
Kamei Arano putting basically pushing and shoving someone into getting back into action to fighting.
That's awesome.
More of convincing him.
Oh, okay. This is the second time or second guest in a row that started with Shrapnel to get into writing for BattleTech. So take note. So
no, and I wasn't. Yeah, it was funny. I was inspired because the year before I had they released the Harebrained Schemes game came out, and I was running around for 3 days in a red ball gown.
Oops.
But I liked the place of the tattoo so much, I kind of adopted it and got the real tattoo.
Awesome.
So I've kind of stuck with it since then.
So what did you, as you started writing, what was your what do you like writing about in the world of BattleTech?
I like writing about the female characters the most, but that's because I've always focused a lot of my study on the dramatization of female characters, showing them as with the strength versus how other cultures will show them. Just little bits of study that if I'd gone further in college, I would have turned into a full dissertation.
Awesome. So what are your credits up to this point?
So far I have Shrapnel. I do have the other credits I have are kind of on the downside, like with actual Shadowrun First Edition, because I was the one who helped to start the scanning on it to start to make it real.
For the reproduction?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, thank you for your sacrifice.
Yeah, well, that was a funny part into itself. I started out learning how to scan, just learning how to do my grandfather's old books.
Oh, that's
and then
awesome.
I was like looking at these BattleTech books, I could do something with this. Then discovered that there was a way I can actually pay it forward and push it onward. And now I'm starting to help with scans to hopefully bring the old line back.
That would be fun if we could do that. But there's no definitive decision on if we're going to do that yet. So
yeah, there's a lot of process in that anyway.
Yeah.
Not exactly easy.
So Shrapnel you wrote for. What else have you written for other BattleTech or Shadowrun?
At this point I have not, but I have a lot that I've been working on. I had one short story that was meant for, or one short that was meant for the cookbook that got cut out. That's going to eventually turn into a story centered around Alpha.
Okay.
Right after Kerensky's landing.
Okay. All right.
Which is kind of the explanation of how Mackie and Cheese became known to the clans.
Yeah, let's segue right into that, because your relevant credit to bring you on the show this week is the recent release of the BattleTech cookbook. So can you talk about how that started, how you got brought into that project?
That all started out by being on the right place at the right time. It was during the second of the Kerensky cons after the first Kickstarter. And it was just a question I kind of wanted to do a little more and getting to know people. It was kind of fun to be able to offer to say, hey, well, I have this in my background. I want to do something. And of course, John Telfers comes to me and asks, well, would you like to write a cookbook? My answer is just, okay, sure. So I had before it was even a thought for a year, I was going into all the research and just having to literally go and type searches by word to find every little bit of food and drink and between alcohol and food that was included in the fiction books.
Awesome.
Took, with 40 years of literature, that takes a while.
Yeah, for sure. So doing a lot of cross-referencing to see what was mentioned. And then there's also a lot of punny recipes. Were all the recipes pulled from lore, or were some like, oh, I just have a good pun for this that we have to do?
It started out being ones for lore, and then it turned over to, okay, let's see what we can play with puns, because I wanted to add little elements of Easter eggs of each of the clans into there.
Oh,
and
cool.
That didn't quite work out as well as I would have liked, but we did our best.
Awesome. So I know we heard a lot of the puns in some of the meetings that I was part of. Can you share some of the punny recipes that made it into the book?
Oh, the punny recipes. Let me turn to my front of mind. The best recipes for puns, the best recipes are the Curta Blake and the Curta Blake poutine. Those are the best ones.
I asked for this knowing that I actually really hate puns, so I'm gonna sit and just suffer while you share these with us.
Well, and then you have Orion rings instead of onion rings. Of course, wolf rangoons. Clan cakes for pancakes.
Oh my god.
Oh, here's the funny one, and this one has an odder story, is the Davian dill, pickle, and rice salad. The line from the book of it was, he's so poor that they only had pickles and rice.
Well, there you go. Awesome. So
you always find a way.
So you get some of these punny recipes. Do you have a favorite from just those so far?
Oh, I would have to say doing the Curta Blake poutine and the fried curds.
Oh, cool.
Are kind of the double on that, only because I do love poutine from when I have been able to visit friends up north.
Yeah, I need
to go back.
I'm in Canada, so thank you for the representation. Appreciate. We kind of talked through the punny recipes so far and stuff like that. Did you try all the recipes that you were picking out?
I did try as many as I could. I was in a little bit more of a time crunch than I wanted, so I couldn't go through everything and add in getting help because my husband's allergic to shellfish and mushrooms. So I had to pass some recipes off and say, we can't make this in my house. That's all. But I did make sure to do a thorough check and vetting of every single recipe, knowing how to cook and bake.
Cool. Okay.
And had plenty of other people to bounce thoughts off of.
Awesome. And what about the other recipes that weren't as punny, but were references from the lore and stuff like that? What are some of your favorites from there?
One of my favorites is actually two favorites. One of them is the Black Forest cake, or the Bob cake. And this is an authentic German recipe, just in case anyone's curious.
Oh, neat.
So you might not recognize everything, but I couldn't include Donegal cherries because I didn't know if they were sour or not.
Oh, okay.
And a good Black Forest cake needs sour cherries. You wouldn't think of that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge cooker, or baker. What else?
My second one is the honey almond sponge cake with mascarpone, cream filling, and almond buttercream icing. In other words, the wedding cake.
I like that. That sounds real good.
Oh, it's delicious.
Awesome. So those are some of your favorite desserts to make from the cookbook? Any regular meals that you're excited about sharing?
Definitely the Northwind Scotch eggs.
Ooh, I love Scotch eggs.
They're delicious. Those are just divine.
Awesome. What's in those? Can you tell us about the recipe?
It's eggs, sausage. It's eggs wrapped in hard-boiled egg wrapped in sausage, and then deep fried.
Ooh, that sounds really good. Awesome. So going through this, tell me about your process for putting this together. Who were your collaborators? How did production go on some of this?
Most of those collaborating with my husband as one of the big ones to kind of bounce ideas off of. John Helfers is my editor. Mike Ritchie was also helping out for the recipes I couldn't do, most of all. A lot of it was the focus a lot of it was the focus on what I wanted to make it as a cookbook. How did I want to design it? So I actually did market research and got about 20 different fantasy cookbooks and kind of look through like, don't like this, don't like this, don't like this. Okay, I'll keep that.
Cool.
Because I wanted to see what was actually out there on the market. Because you know how half the books, sometimes you look at them and they only end up on a shelf.
Yeah. Yeah.
You open them and you're just kind of like, I can't even tell what recipe this is supposed to be. Or you have to have a certain skill level to cook it, or it gets so complicated. But I was also having to double back and consider the fact that this was literally going to go not just in the US, but go to Germany, go to Australia, Japan.
Yeah.
I had to think about that.
Could the items in the recipe be found everywhere?
Exactly, which is why I took an additional step of including how to make the breads.
Okay. All right.
Because I really was hating the fact that I look in every cookbook and they say use this bread, but they don't tell you how to make it if you want to try.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, any stories that came out of this, or memories that you'd like to share that we haven't covered?
I think the biggest memory or the best one I have is dealing with the mac and cheese, because I kept on telling myself for the longest time, I'm not doing mac and cheese. I'm not doing mac and cheese. Okay, I'll do it, but I'm giving it my own spin.
So, share that memory. Like, what was that process? Why were you hesitant to do it? And then what changed your mind? And what did you do it to give your own spin?
It was just frustrating because I'm thinking of, well, how can I make this work? How can this be so simple? And then I was just like, wait a second. I don't have to it's not about how you make it work. It's how you make it work for you. So then I thought of and began to write the whole story of two chefs sitting there, two tax-turned chefs sitting there staring at these 100 pallets of mac and cheese that were on the Exodus ships, going, what are we supposed to do with this? Serving it, everyone complains, and then suddenly they mellow down like, oh wait, I remember this. That reminder of home. And it's like, oh, I like this idea. Like, complete with giving it a mascot and running the mill of turning it into a kids show where the pilot changes each season, and like the books. One of for some reason I had from Phineas and Ferb giving a Mackie a shower in my head, where the pilot's going in and and trying to figure out how to get a bathtub big enough, and then realizing, oh wait, I have to make sure I have to sew these things together to shower it.
Oh, jeez.
Just those funny kid moments that you remember and they stick with you.
That's awesome.
Those little nostalgia moments. That's why I was trying to give it a little more of a nostalgia spin at some points.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh.
So, I guess, how does it feel having like this cookbook now published and out there, and it was a stretch goal for the Kickstarter and stuff? How does it feel like that this is your thumbprint on battletech through the ages?
I'm still having a hard time believing it exists. I really am, but I'm also happy to have the contributions there and add in more elements into the elements, and just trying to tie things together more and more.
Awesome. So you guys can find, I'll drop the link again. You can find the cookbook live in the Catalyst store now. So feel free to check that out, see what Jennifer and John and friends made, and try out some recipes for yourself, and just, ping us what you try, send pictures so that we can all be jealous of what you're doing. Just don't make puns. That's all I'm asking.
It's not all puns. There are serious ones, and there's the silly, and then there's the not so silly.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to try them too. At least the ones that look easy enough for me to do. And feel free, chat, to ask any questions about the process, about the recipes, about any of this. Anything else that you want to share about you or battletech or the cookbook or writing or anything at all, Jen, that we haven't covered?
Oh, well, my husband and I do have, ever since I'd mentioned that we started out going in 2006, we started out on a podcast. We started a podcast together that was originally for a small little group, and I'm kind of glad those are non-existent anymore. But it's become a monthly thing that we still kind of go into. We go into a little more and more on just the newest releases. There's the people who have the lore, there's people with this, and we just do the new releases and then end it all with the funniest stories we can get our hands on.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. So where can people find that?
Ourbattletech.com. It's the chatter web.
Okay. Awesome. So check that out too. Give Jen and James some support, and we will switch on over to Q&A. So feel free to drop your questions in chat. Don't forget to ping your moderator at Lorcan so that they can see where it is. And I'm going to pull up my document here. Questions can be for me or for Jen. And anything I don't know the answer to, I'll try to ping someone and get an answer before the end of the show. Sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're not. But here we go. Where are Q&A? All right. We've got from the Battletech forums, what's the status of the Grey Death Legion Force Pack? It doesn't seem to be generally available and even disappeared from the Catalyst store. It may just be out of stock, but let me check. I did get a new, we have a little extra time today, so I'm gonna check the inventory and I can let you guys know. So let's see here. I usually don't have to pull this up on the fly, so I'm a little slow. And we've got it looks like it might be out of stock because I'm not seeing it on the spreadsheet. So it's probably on the docket for either remanufacturing, or if it's already done, it could be ready to ship as we figure out our plans with tariffs and stuff like that. So it should be back, but inventory would have to update to get it back on the store. Also from the Battletech forums, are there any plans for Catalyst to attend Gamescom in Edmonton again this year? I don't think so, not that I have heard. If we do, it'll be a small presence. We are actually, because of tariffs, pulling back on a lot of conventions, just shipping stuff where we need it to go, and planning on sales being affected and stuff. We just want to be cautious as we go. So I don't think so this year, probably, unless we might just send demo team or send maybe a small booth, but it would really, I'm not 100% sure yet. Also from the Battletech forums, detailed update on Australia Kickstarter fulfillment. A lot of people who paid their shipping on time have yet to get notifications. The update I got for that'll go in the next backer update today or tomorrow. We don't get a lot of detail because the agreement is with the hubs and QML. All I really get is like a percentage done. So that's all I really know, but let's see. Australia is underway with wave 2. They anticipate 10 days for the wave. So that's literally my update. So that's why we give you what we know and what we can share from that. So that's all I've got. From the Battletech forums, is there a roadmap for upcoming fiction? Any sign of new work from Reed Bishop? I'm not sure. I know that there are meetings where that's happening, but I've kind of lost track. I don't attend those regularly, so I'm not sure. I know that one of my people is usually listening in, so if I get a message from them with an answer, I'll let you know. I would like to get ahead on kind of like we do all of our upcoming releases for battletech and shadowrun and stuff like that. I would like to get that in process for fiction, but sometimes there are delays due to writer, like it's pretty up to the wire that we get these out, and so I don't want to. I know that the intention is that we don't want to promise something that then gets pushed or pushed and pushed. So I know that's been a little slow, but it is one of the things we'd like to fix. Also from the Battletech forums, any update on Tales of the Bounty Hunter? I don't have anything, but we'll see again if I have someone message in to help. Any Ziguro asks, any updates on the Kickstarter merch going to the CGL web store? Will it be coming out in waves or all at once? It's been coming out in waves since January. So we've been slow releasing this. So like we've had the first, like the Mercenaries box set was released in January. So I think it's between January and August is getting everything out there. So a couple of those items from the Kickstarter are releasing in May, a couple in June, a couple in July, and so on. So Tim Deppen asks, I haven't seen any Battletech Aces events at Gen Con. Do you know if and when these will be added? I'm not sure if Aces will be there yet, since I'm not sure when the release is going to be yet. And I'm not sure that we're going to do demo events before then. But that would be a question for CDT, and I can see if I can reach them on the fly here. Hold, please. As everything freezes up, that's great. Let's see, I've got for any Aces events at Gen Con. See if someone's available and able to answer quickly here. Cool. Dirk asks, any news about the Star League boxes, the House Karita boxes, 21st Centauri, or the emplacements, or the loot? That's a lot of questions. Let me jump over to my release schedule here. I have... Those ones aren't as tentative, so I can share more about those. So June 11th is slated for the 3rd Star League Strike Team Force Pack. For right now, there is a chance that could be a BNN, but I'm not sure. That is one thing I need to get clarified. House Karita Ranger Lance Force Pack is July 23rd is when it's slated for. Let's see if I've got anything, any of your others. I've also got for August 20th tentatively House Karita Command Lance Force Pack and the 3rd Star League Battle Group Force Pack. What else do I've got? Emplacements looks like it's September. So is 21st Centauri. But that one, 21st Centauri might be a BNN. We kind of label it as possible ones because our warehouse manages our relationship with BNN. And so like they put a couple on the table and then it all gets handled in ways that I'm not familiar with. Try to see if there's anything. The BFMs, oh, and emplacements. Let's see if I can see anything for those. I know I saw emplace. Oh, there it is. September is looking for emplacements. I might have said that already. I don't remember. And then I might have scrolled past the BFMs. I'm not seeing it as at a glance, so I'm gonna have to follow up on those. I'm gonna put it in my chat notes with Randall for when I meet with him. But that is the tentative schedule for everything else. Things can move, so don't hold me to that. Cool. What else we got? Billy asks, is CGL going to hold containers and will that cause shortages? It's possible. I know I've been pushing weekly for to remind the team that we want to get communication out. Like prices, we had communicated we're going to go up within 60 days. Sorry, I'm seeing things move as I'm in the dock, so I don't want to lose things. Prices are going up, but that is going to be communicated shortly because we had given like 60 days notice and we're at the end of that. So I've been poking them about that. But like us and the industry are still like trying to finagle a million different ways that this could go and what's going to work and what should we put the work into figuring out versus like are tariffs going to change again, higher or lower, and is it worth the work to put in if it's going to take us a month to figure out a certain process and things are going to change, then that could make that work irrelevant. So it's a really frustrating place to be for everyone. There, like the conversation is there that we could end up holding containers. There are some things we won't because like we have certain agreements with some of our licensors and things like that. But like it's I don't have a good answer yet until everything is together. There's a lot in the air and a lot of research being done. I try to, as much as possible, stay out of it because I don't want to get confused. And so that when they say this is going to be the communication that goes out to the community, I'm not like, cool, there's 15 different communications that I've gotten about this one thing. What is relevant? So I'm trying to kind of, I'm not involved in those conversations. But it could happen. It could absolutely happen. Ziguro says, oh, I meant about when the faction merch like patches, dice, and other. That was for, Kickstarter merch going to, okay. Sorry, just put that back together. I'm actually working, when I have that meeting with Randall, we're doing non-distro items as well. So this is stuff that doesn't go to retail. Or to retailers, and that is swag. So all of that is going to be, I know our plan is to release like 5 a month of patches, pins, dice, and a collection of all of those. So that would be like 30 new SKUs a month or something like that. But 5 or 6, I can't remember. But we are going to be working on scheduling those in. And once they're scheduled, they will be on my release schedule that I reference every week. So I'll be able to talk about those here on Tuesday Newsday so that you know what's coming. Cookbook questions. Billy asks, any recipes that didn't make it into the book that you loved?
The only one that really didn't make it was one as a baked bean recipe, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that was one that was actually from the books also in reference. Okay. So I was just like, aw. And there's a second one of, which I know someone's going to ask next, the Iridani light beer. It was chosen to be excluded because people write books over how to brew beer. A 2-page spread is not going to cover it, and I don't know the liquor laws in other countries.
Yeah.
So it was more of the, well, let's just leave it to the people who know how to brew it.
Fair. And what was the first recipe that didn't make it?
Baked bean recipe.
A baked bean?
Uh-huh.
Oh, cool. That would have been good. Maybe you can share that on your podcast if you haven't already so that people can get in on that if they want to.
Hopefully. I'm hoping to explore different curry recipes and what one feels like it's liar and what one feels like it's for different houses. Oh. Every culture has a variation on curry. It's interesting to study.
Turbo Turtle asks, question, Cookbook Volume 2 when? Have there been any discussions with John about another cookbook?
Not yet. I would definitely love to do another cookbook or to do extensions. The first step we want to do is we want to make the wedding menu, which if you look in there, you actually see I did write up a full wedding menu.
Nice. That would be cool.
And if anyone's wondering why there's so many Caracara references, it's because I discovered that the Caracara Orange, available from December to November to March in the US, is the equivalent in flavor to Naranji as described in the books, which is not something you easily find.
Cool. Oh, I did get an update, by the way. I just checked my messages to see if anyone answered the questions that I sent out. Tales of the Bounty Hunter is getting ready for fact check, copy editing and layout. So it is in process, but we don't have a release date just yet for you. Awesome. And then the last question I have, so feel free to drop any more in the chat, or I'm more than happy to wrap a few minutes early today. But Workers asks for Leviathans. Rem, what Leviathans are your favorites? I haven't gotten to play yet. Usually when we do streams at shows and stuff like that, I put Bryn in charge, and that's when I get to take my break from stream and, eat. So I haven't gotten to play. I'm actually kind of looking forward to trying it out, especially after reading the live fiction that we did a few weeks ago. That might have been more than a few weeks at this point. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what happens from that. I really like the fiction element of the mid-battle, what each of the leaders is thinking and how they're out maneuvering each other. So I don't have one yet, but I'll let you know when I do. And I kind of think it's going to be funny a little bit because my rule at conventions is that I get to make time for one battletech game and for one shadowrun game. But if we keep going with all of these licenses, then it's going to be one Leviathans game, one Runefire game, one. So I'm not mad about it. That's all I'm gonna do is play games. That's fine, right? That's fine. It's marketing. So I don't have one yet, but I'll let you know when I do. All right. Any other final questions? Oh, Billy asked, what is the next book coming out? The next one, I think we had might have mentioned. Maybe we didn't. Oh, I know issue 2 for Augment is coming. And then Michael, if you are listening, I think you are because you typed that one answer to me. Feel free to drop it in chat so I can let people know what the next one is. Lorcan, if I had come to UK Games Expo, so last week I couldn't go because of my health, because there's trade shows out there around the same time, and that's my thing. I get to do trade shows, and I was so excited, but I couldn't do it because of a health thing that sprung up. And then this year we're just not, like I said, not doing as big of a presence places, so we're not sending. So maybe next year, let's have a good year, and maybe I can go next year. I would love to. I'm planning on visiting you, Lorcan. I hope you know that. And then can I pronounce the date as written in the Q&A doc? Oh my goodness, now I'm scared. Oh no, it's in, what is this, Celtic? This is mean. I'll do it. Oh, it's so anglicized. And I pride myself too on accents and stuff. Like I used to, my degree was in theater, film acting, and voice. And part of my major was accents, and I would teach them at theaters and stuff like that for a while. But mi biltain and sula sa belain quig is fish. I hope you laughed at that. I must like you because I just embarrassed myself on the internet. Yay! Okay.
You gave it a good go.
You know, I tried. And I know like the letters in Celtic are nowhere near what they are in English. So I got me right. Hooray. Awesome. Anything else you want to share, Jennifer, before we sign off for the day?
the only two would be last thing in terms of I didn't mention anything on the drinks. Is that one, be cautious when going for necrosia. You will see colors and hear sounds.
Wait, I see colors.
Hear sounds and see colors.
Nope, still wrong. Hear colors and
hear colors and see sounds.
There we go. Okay.
Well, it is written with Jepson's Malort and absinthe.
Oh no. Oh no.
Well, it is honoring the roots the roots where battletech began in Chicago.
As a former Chicago person, you said Malort and my stomach started flipping. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jen, for joining me. Really appreciate talking to you, chatting with you, getting to hear more about the cookbook and some of your other work. Check out Jen's cookbook. Check out her work in Shrapnel. And James as well. I assume James is written for Shrapnel as well.
Yes, he is the writer for Ace Darwin, which is why you get all of the Ace Darwin notes.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining. Oh, messages in chat. One more. Coming up. Oh, thank you so much, Michael. Battletech Shrapnel number 21 is next month. Shadowrun Night Court, spelled with like Chivalry Knights, by Brian C.P. Steele is next month. And Lev's Geisterwolf Protocol by Mike Ritchie is soon TM. So not sure exactly when that's launching, but that is next up for launch. So awesome. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you next week. Have a good week. Bye, guys.